Good morning, everyone. This is BremSter, and yes, it looks like everything is working okay, and I'm returning to the Artisan of Glimmith. Hey, Eric, welcome. So, yes, whew, it's been a week, and it's good to be one of the people who's actually pushing through this. I've been chatting to a lot of people who are playing through this game and getting some good and bad vibes. There are a lot of people who are playing this game, and I can see they're doing exactly what I see with the hard people on people who do hard puzzles on LMD. They're only interested in puzzles that are really rated 6 or above. The workshop stuff that's been created is mostly at the incredibly hard range, and people are rating those puzzles really, really easy because they've completed the game and they know all the logic. So puzzles that are really, really hard, they're saying, oh, I know all this logic, so it's an easy puzzle. So the entire community around this game is already suffering from that high knowledge basis, which means the workshop is kind of broken already, which is a bit of a shame. So let's give this a look, see where I'm up to, because I don't remember anything. My house is in a state of massive disrepair at the moment because the renovations are in full flight, but we will see what we're up to. Let's do some easy, or see if I can find some easy ones to get myself going. Range 4 to 6. All regions have an area between 4 and 6, and area number shows the area of a region. So this is a region of size 4, but this has to be this region because this has to grow, but this cell is trapping all of those 4 cells. So that has to be the region of size 4, because whichever way this grows, those 3 are all going to hit that, and that traps it. Now we've got the same here. They're all a region of size 4 to 6. So those 4 are all part of the same region, and it can't come into here because that would trap it. So this is a region of size 4 that must come out to at least here. Now it can't enter the 5 and it can't enter the 6. So that is the region of size 4 because it can't run into another region. This is all part of the size 6, which now must grow. That's the 6 and it stops. This is all part of the same 4. Let's make it a different color. Oh, way to go, Belsita. The only thing that could pick up this cell is that, and that makes that the 6. This has to come out because it has to hit a 4. It hits a 5, and the only thing that can pick that up is that. Now, every region must be between 4 and 6, and if I don't make this 2 4s, I've got the wrong count. So that must be a 4, and that completes the puzzle. This is the sort of puzzle I find absolutely beautiful. And that was a really good way of starting the stream. Let's go to this 2. Okay, so every region contains exactly 1 symbol, and all regions have an area of at most 6. Okay, so what can... So the top of this grid is what's going to be the issue. Because all of these cells at the top have to get down to the stuff at the bottom to touch red circles. So, for example, what can this hit? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The only thing that this cell can hit within 6 is that one. It's the only thing it can hit with those 5. Now, it could potentially grow 1 more, but there's nothing else it could hit. And now we've got the same with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what can this hit within 6? It can't hit anything within 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can't actually hit anything. So that is actually the 6th cell of yellow. That's very cool. So now the question is this cell. What can it hit? Well, it can hit either of those 2. So maybe I want to ask about this cell. What can this hit? Well, it can hit either of those 2. But in order to do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it can potentially hit that. But then I'm isolating too much up here. It is all about all of these because this one can't reach the top. So I expect these 5 cells, it could have been about count actually. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've got 6 by 5. So every region has to be of size 6. Because we've got 6 regions and everything has a maximum of 6, but we've got 5 by 6 in the grid. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, we've got 5 by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5 by 7 is 35. No, one region can be size 5 because 5 by 7 is 35. But 6 by 6 is 36. So there's one cell that could be size, one region that could be size 5. But the only region, but this one must be size 5 because it can't run into a red. So every other region must be size 6. Now we know that this comes out. Every other region must be size 6. Well, I can't trap in this. So that's the 5 for that. Because otherwise I'm trapping it in. And now this must come out. And now this must come out. And now that's its 6. Let's get rid of these. Now orange must come out. Red must come out. Yellow must come out. Red must come out, red must come out. That's 6. Yellow must come out, orange must come out, and that's the space. So you actually work up from the bottom once you figure out that this is limited to 5 and you've got the cell count. Okay, all regions have an area of at most 6. I can draw in borders because I can't put 2 of the same shape into the same region. This must come out. Now this must come out because of the way that the shape just works. Actually, let me quickly just do a count. There are 49, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the count isn't quite as tight on this one. But this red has to come out this way because I can't come out through here because that'll trap this one. And it must continue. But this red must come down because I can't go up and get to a blue. And it can't go right. It must come down. It can't go that way. It must come down. So now this one must come out and it can't go up. So now this one comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This can only grow by at least one more. That must be yellow. The only thing that could take that now is green. 1, 2, 3, 4. This must hit a blue within 2, and the only one it can hit is that. So this must do that now. Red does not need to come out. Red could stop at 2. But this must come out and can't connect. Orange must grow. That traps red. This is a different color because of the border, which must come out. So this must grow. Blue must come out because they are a different color because of this original border. Now this must hit a red within... This must hit a red within 3. And the only one it can hit is that. I don't need to pick up that cell. I could do that. But it must take that one. Okay, but there's no other blue it can hit than this one. Within 3 squares, I need to pick up a blue and a red, so it must be that one. And now this can't be the same color. How is this going to get a blue? This can't get a blue now. I'm actually wrong here. This is actually wrong. No, I think I am wrong on this blue. This is right. No, no, I am wrong. This blue must come out and it must take this red. Must take this red. But which blue can this orange take? Because it needs to reach a blue in 3, and the only one it can reach is that one. So now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's blue. And now this needs to come out and reach a red in time. That was very cool, by the way. And if purple takes that blue, I've separated this red from this blue, so it can't. So the only way that could work is this. And now I've got a problem. Because this region is too large. So I need to figure out how to make red bigger. But this has to come out. So this has to come out. How could red have been bigger? Extend. Extend. Extend the upper right purple. Sorry, this doesn't make... I think I need to start again. Or at least roll all the way back. Actually, I might just start again. Because... this had to come out. And the only way this red could come out was this way. It can't go down, it must come out again. This has to come out. This is a different color. The only way this can reach out, it can't go up because it has to go down. It has to get to a blue. The only blue it can hit is that one. Now this must come out and this must come out. This cannot go up. They are different colors. Yellow must grow. Grow top right, then grow clockwise regions. I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, grow top right. The only red that this one can hit is that one. I can't connect to this one or it won't have a blue. So that's the only one it can hit. But this red has to come out. But it now can't grow. From the blue rose window in the upper right purple, pick one square to the left. Yeah, this one has to be this. Now, the only blue this one can pick up is that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But the only thing that could pick up is that, and that's 6. Orange has to grow. This is a different color. It has to come down. Now, it must get a red, which must be that one. That's 5. It must get a blue. Now, the only blue that yellow can get... Yeah, unfortunately, when you reset, you lose your colors. So you're saying that this top one doesn't need a blue? Ian. Grow orange by 1 more. Yellow can pick up that. Green needs a blue. And now my count is probably right. Orange can't cut anything off. So that's one, actually that's, yeah, orange that is now complete because that's now 6. That's now 6. Now, this has to come out and it must reach a red. That's the only one it can reach. The only thing that can take this now is orange, and that's a 6 by 6. So the issue was this needing to grow this way. So this was okay. The issue was this orange, which I know was purple. Unfortunately, when you reset, your colors reset and there's no way of retaining the colors. But this needed to grow this way. This needed to wrap around. This was correct. This was correct. It was all in here, but it's really hard to see that. And unfortunately, there's no good communication lingo for these puzzles. Okay. So this has to get out, but it can't run through here. So it can't take that square. So yellow must come through here because it has to have an area of at least 12. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know that it needs to come through here though. This is where all the trick is happening. Now red must come up. And yellow can't come into here. If yellow came into here, because it can't be here, that would trap whatever is in here. So this is a different color again. And this can't be red, because if this was red, I would trap in blue, which must also be at least 12. So this is yet a fourth color, which must come out. Yellow must grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yellow must grow. Yellow must grow. Green must come out. Blue must come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yellow now must grow. Green must come up here. Blue must grow. Blue must grow, so red has to come out. This can't be red. The only thing that could take this now is all of yellow. And yellow is size 10. Yellow can't come down. This is a different color. It feels like this has to be yellow because blue must grow. This cannot be blue. Well, not the dark blue. Blue must grow, red must grow, red must grow. Feels like I'm now just going to wrap around the outside of the grid. If this isn't yellow, it's got to be green. But if it's green, how does green get out of this? Like if this was green, green would get out and this would be trapped. So this has to be yellow. And now this has to be green. Because if it's not green, when green gets out, whatever this is trapped. This has to be green. I I actually feel all of this has to be green because green has to get out because green is only 5. So all of that is green. And this is yet a different color. Yellow now is 12 and is, no, it's at least 12. So yellow doesn't need to stop. Blue needs to get out. Orange needs to get out. Now orange has to take this whole 2 by 2, doesn't it? Maybe not. Orange could just shoot up here, actually. Now, green needs to grow. This is not green. The blue must get out. So blue must get out. Red must continue to grow. Blue must continue to grow. That must continue to grow. Yellow must grow. So green must grow. This is another color. Blue must grow, red must grow, red must grow. Red doesn't need to grow anymore. Blue does, yellow does, blue does. Red doesn't need to though. Purple does, green does, yellow does. This is all feeling right, but orange now needs to come up through here. And now the only thing that can take this is orange. And now we've got a problem. Unless this is all orange. Because that's 8, that's 3. I can connect that up. And I could even do that. But I don't know that I need to. Yellow could grow and orange could take something else. But this is a different color. It's possibly this purple. Now, this green needs to grow. The yellow still needs to grow. This purple comes up. Orange does need to grow one more, but it could take this cell. But this needs to grow, and now orange needs to grow. And now orange and yellow are completely trapped. 16 empty cells left. So with 16 empty cells left, we need 1, 6, well, this must grow. So this now must connect up. This needs to grow by 1 more so purple can get out. That's it done. There are now 11 cells left. Man, these counts break me. Green doesn't need to grow anymore. Yellow does. Blue does. Blue does, which traps red. But those are now done. So I need 5, 6, and 3 more, which is math, 14. I don't have 14. But purple has to connect with one of the others. But this border at the top is what's going to make it interesting. Red is done. So purple needs to run around the end. That feels like a yin-yang issue, because otherwise it's going to get trapped. And can't I just hook up green and blue now? No, this needs to grow by at least 6. And that's a problem. So this is wrong. At this point, this is wrong. How can purple be yellow? Oh. But how do I do this? Because to get a different color there, I've only got 5 cells left. So this is wrong. This is wrong. I mean, it says this is correct. I mean, it made sense that this was correct by the logic, but I don't see how to complete this. This needs to grow by 6. This needs to grow, but they must be different. But the only way this can grow by 6 is to come out through here. And even that's not enough. And now yellow is trapped. I mean, if that takes those, Oh. Wow. Nice one, butterfly. I'm glad I've got chat here, because I'm a nupty. Size separation. Neighboring regions must have different sizes. Well, there's a border there, and that's a locked in 2. So the 2 can't go down, or they'd have the same sizes. The 3 can't go down, so that's the 3. The 3 can't go up, so that's the 3. That's a 1. So the 4 must be conjoined. I'm too dumb to solve this without chat. All regions have an area between 3 and 6, and all regions must have the same shape. So whatever shape we find, which is going to be between 3 and 6. Now, the whole board is size 30. So it can't be a 4. It's a 3, a 5, or a 6. I can't see how it can be a 5. Because there's not a lot of 5 shapes you can draw in here. Like, you could draw a P, but I can't draw a second P. I could draw an I, but I can't draw a second I. Every 5 shape I draw down here is going to trap. Even 3s are problematic. Because I don't think it could be 3 either. Because the only 3 shapes I've got are elbows and straights. And if I draw straights in here, I'm trapped up here. So it has to be... No, I can't even do a 5L. Oh, maybe I can. You're right, it could be a 5L. But 3 is definitely out. 4 is out by math. Is there a 6 shape piece that would work? It can't be a 6 straight. But 6 gives you all sorts of weird options. Like, but I don't think it works because of this. So you're right. I think 5L might be required. You're right. It is 5L. What would you have done, Laura? Hopefully something as bad as what I did. Maximum. All regions can have an area of at most 3. Mingle. Neighboring regions must have different shapes and depicts the shapes of its region. So that's a 1, 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 that's a 1. I still think it should say orthogonally neighboring regions because these are neighboring. But so this must be at least a 2. This must be at least a 2. This has to grow because it can't stay as a 1. This has to be at least a 2. This has to grow because it can't stay as a 1. Area of at most 3. Ah, interesting, Laura. Huh. So anyway, this has to grow. And this has to grow, and they can't connect up. So that's a 2. This one could grow. This one must grow. So what's my count now? 12. I mean, I can see a way of solving it right now. No, I can't, because neighboring regions must have different shapes. The solution I saw is wrong. Right. Maybe. By light green, do you mean orange? If this doesn't grow, there's 2 up top. So do you mean orange or blue? Yes, orange. If this doesn't grow, why would that be a problem? If this doesn't grow, this would be an L. This would then not grow. This could be a 3 by 1. That could be an L. That could be an L, and that could be a 2. I don't see the problem. It has to grow because of mingle shape. Ooh. So this now has to grow. And it can't grow again. And now this has to grow because it can't stay as a 2. This has to grow out. This has to grow and it can't stay as a 2. So it has to grow, but I don't know the direction. I can see a solution. But how do I know it's the only solution? The solution I can see is that. But how do I know that's the only solution? Because if this went down, I couldn't complete this bottom region. If this went down, I'd have 4 cells to fill, and I can't fill 4 apart from 2 2x1s. So this has to go up, and that finishes the 3. And now I've got 5 cells to fill, which has to be a 3 and a 2. And this part, and if this was an L or an elbow, it would touch another elbow. If this went up, I'd have 2 elbows touching. So I can't do that. This can't be part of the 3. Or at least this, if this didn't grow, this would be part of an elbow. Oh, sorry, if this didn't grow, this would be part of an elbow, which is wrong. So this has to grow. And if it went up, then this would be part of an elbow, which doesn't work. This has to grow in that direction, and that completes the puzzle. There's the way of proving it. Right. Right, we have 25 squares. All regions have an area of at least 2. This is a 19 region. So I've got a multiple 2 region, either 3 2 regions. The fire pit rendering on top of the puzzle is really weird. Okay, so the 19 has to come out through one of these 2, potentially both. But if the 19 takes this, actually, interestingly, the 19 could take those, and this could be one of the 2s. So there's all sorts of options here. But we've got some color differentiation here. This is a color, this is a different color. Ah, this is another gut feel puzzle to me. Like, I really want to do something like that. Except that doesn't work. But you see where I'm coming from. Anyway, well, you could put a yellow there. Yellow there. No, that doesn't work either. There is some interesting stuff going on here. But I think that does it. So the whole point was, how do you draw 2x2s that cover all of those boundaries? So yeah, the point of that puzzle was, how do I cover each of the borders with different colors so that I'm only using the 6 cells that were left over? I think I hope I explained that well enough. I really don't feel like I'm doing a very good job of explanations on this one. All regions have an area of at least 4. So this has to come out, this has to come out. So that's part of the same region. This has to come out, this has to come out, this has to come out. These can't connect because of already existing borders. So this has to come out. This is a different color. So there's a border here, this has to come out. Now, this must grow, so this hits the 5. These can't connect, so there's the 4. And the 5 is only 4, so there's the 5, and that finishes. This must come out and join the 6. This must come out, and it has to grow because of at least 4. All of this is the same color because of the 4 trap, and therefore can't come through. This must come out and can't be the same color, so that's the end of the corner. Green must come out, yellow must come out, this must come out, and we're done. This is broken. No, we're not. That could be the same region. I also wish the dark purple was not that dark. There are many colors in this I don't like. Green can't go up because then it would trap this cell. So green must come down. And you can see that by this needs to come out. And now green can't go up. So green must come down. Purple must grow. That traps this. Yellow must grow. And now they must connect. Otherwise, neither of them would be 4. That is now a border because of pre-existing borders. Blue can't go that way. Blue must grow. And now that must be taken by the 6 region, which still must grow. Green can't go this way. So this is a different region which must take at least those. And now the only thing that can take this, because yellow can't come up, is green. That must end there. What can take those empty cells below the 5 region? I'm not sure if that's already been answered. So the 6 must still grow, and it can't go that way, but it might go up. But the 5 must come out now. This cannot be orange, but it could be yellow. The 6 could loop around. Okay, this is where I feel this is getting a little tricky. Because these regions could all still grow. This isn't orange, but orange has to come out. But why couldn't this just... Oh no, this is limited to 6. So this only takes 1 more cell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, this goes up and ends. There you go. And now this is a different color region. So orange must come out. That puts a border in place. Red must come out. Now red could connect up to blue and take all of those. Or purple could come down and take all of those. Because there's no limit on these. But this is now a different color region, which isn't part of the 6 or the 5. But it must have an area of at least 4, so it has to take all of those. And this can't be red, and it can't be purple. Because it's different from red because of the border, and purple can't reach that far. But it could be all of this. This could all be the same, except orange now must grow, and there's the limit of orange. And this has to connect up to something. It can't be red. So this has to come through and connect up to that blue at least, and that's the extent of purple. Now, why? So this can't be red because, well, sorry, it can't be this lower red. It can't be this. This cannot go this way. So this is a different color, but it must be part of an existing region. So purple must come down and take those, and those must connect up. That's gorgeous. You're not sure that the right orange has to take the upper left corner in that sort of 4 in the corner. Right. So what you're asking is what would have happened if this came up there? But 6 has nowhere to go now. Sorry, this was proven, this being 6, is the 6 could never have gone this way. The 6 needs 1 more cell, and it could never go that way. 6 was always that. And then that was red locked in. That grows the 5. This needs to grow up, so it has to take all of those. Now, red can't go this way. The only thing that could fill it is that, and there's your solution. Yeah, I should have finished the lavender first by the fact that it couldn't go left. That would have simplified that ending. I like exploring it. I'm assuming full deck. And that unlocked a whole heap more puzzles, which I assume are harder in difficulty. Okay. Regions of at least 4, and they all contain 1 rosette. I wish they would define these as rosettes and change the terminology or something, because they've used symbols for multiple things. So where can this cell reach? No, it's at least 4. So this, you know, could potentially do something weird. So, and this, so this is about area constraint. Because we have 36, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So every region is exactly 4. So the only thing that this cell can hit in 4 is that one. So that's locked. I hope people are enjoying this. Now, the only one that this can hit in 4 is that one. So that is locked. Now, the only one that this can hit in 4 is... No, that's a problem. No, because then this cell has a problem. Unless I do that. And then this cell has to hit 1 in 4, and it has to be that one. And then the only thing that can take those is blue. Then the only thing that this one can hit in 4 is that one. Then the only thing that this one can hit in 4 is that one. And then we have a 2 by 2 and an L. All regions have an area between 3 and 5 and shows the area of a region. So we have 8, 12, 17, 21, 25, 33. We've got 3 spare cells somewhere. Potentially more. Welcome back, Puck. So the 5... has a way out, but the 5 has to take those because the 5 can't come through the 3. Well, let's not draw a border, but the 5 can't come through this way. So if the 5 could take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it must take those 2 cells, which means the 4 can't come this way. And that means the 4 has to take those. That is forced for the 4. Which means the 5 now must grow, but I don't know in which direction. And I still don't know that the 5 takes this one. It may grow... Well, the 5 can't go this way, actually. So the 5 must go up. Now it could take this one, though. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 3 could take this one. That could be fine. Actually, let's just clear the ones. So that could be fine. But now this 5 must come out. And now the 3 is trapped. That is absolutely the 3. And now this 5 must come out. Well, this is part of the 5. I should have marked that in. And the 5 must come out through here. And it can't take that cell, so it must grow again. And now these 2 4s must be connected. No, that's not true. But... But what is this? I've got to pick different colors around this central plus. I feel like I'm just wrapping around it, you know? Like I can see a potential solution. If this 4 doesn't connect up, the 4 would trap the 3. Yeah, who said that? Full deck. Yeah, if these 4s don't connect up, this 4 would need to take all of those, and now there's no room for 3. Right. So these 4s absolutely connect up. And now the only thing that can take that is the 5. And now we have an interesting dilemma. Because this has to come out, and that's part of the 3. Now we've got a really weird dilemma. Because we've got a problem in here. This is broken. So how have I broken this? Because there's not enough room for this 5 and a 3 region. So where was my logic? So which 4s can be different? Because this all felt sound. The 5 had to come up through here, which isolated it from the 4. The 4 can't come up through here, so the 4 absolutely had to go. That is forced. The 5 had to grow at least 1. This 5 has to come out. Once the 5 has to come out, the 3 is forced because it can't come down. The 5 has to come out. The 5 may take this, but it has to come out to get at least 5. This is completely forced. Now, if this 4 stops there, this 4 would take all of those, and there's not enough room for the 3. So the 4s absolutely must connect up, but this is now broken. But 5 must take this. And now this must come out. We need an area of at least that. But the count here is wrong. How? Because this 5 needs to come out because it can't come past here. So 1, 2. It still needs another cell. It still needs more cells. So 1, 2, 3, 4 must come up to there. That's absolute minimum with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 4 can't come into here. That is a border. That is part of the 5 region, so the 4 can't come into there. The only 4 cells the 4 region has is those. I'm happy to restart, but 5 can't come into here. 5 can't come into any of those. Now, it doesn't need this cell, but it needs to come out. So it must take that. To come out, it must take that. It must take that. Those are completely forced. So it must take those 3. Now, because it can't come this way, this is a border now. This is part of the 5 region. So this 4 here needs 4 cells. They're the only 4 cells it can take. Now the 5 must continue to grow and it can't go that way. So that is part of the 5. We've got 4 cells of the 5 already. That is absolutely forced. We can repeat that logic up here. We could take 1, we can't go that way, 2, 3, 4, 5. That must be a border. That absolutely must be a border. And the 5 must take at least those. And now we don't have the same restriction at the top as we had at the bottom, but this 5 must come out. Whichever way it goes, it must come out. And that only leaves 3 cells for the 3. Why is it when I select a color? There's nowhere else the 3 can go. So the 3 is locked. Now the 5 needs more cells and it can't go that way. If I don't grow again, I've got a minimum of 4. There's nothing I can do about the YouTube delay, Eric, because YouTube has to receive my video, process my video, send it to wherever you are in the world, figure out what your device is, process it for your device, send it to you so it can then render on your device. If you think about all that video processing and the fact that it does it in a few seconds, that's insane. And now we've got the wrong count in here. No, we don't. But we do. The only way to get the right count is for that to take that, 5 to take all of those, and a 5 to take another one. So that would work. Like we could get the right count in here if green takes 1 more. So we could get the right count in here. If green takes 1 more, yellow takes 3 more, and this green takes 1 more. That's a perfectly fine way of getting the right count. All good. But then this is broken. Because then this 4 would take those. This 4 would have a border here. And take that cell, and that cell. And the 3 would only have 2. The lower 4 can't be an eye. Oh, crikey. It's that. But then this is isolated. That's a 2 region. That's a single and that's a 2. Right. Okay. Yeah, I see it. So, okay, let's look at what's forced. What is absolutely forced to fill these spaces is this needs to take this. The 5 needs to take this and the 5 needs to take this. That is absolutely forced. Now, the only thing that could take this is those. Absolutely forced. Now, this is already its 5. So the only thing that can take that is the 3. If the 3 grows up, the 4 is trapped. That's the 3. Now, the 4 needs to come out. Now, if I did this, I've trapped a 2 region, so it must go up. And I can't take that cell without trapping, so it does that, and that completes the puzzle. That's the way to think about it. I tried to visualize too many steps ahead. Okay. All regions have an area of at most 8. So that's permissible, that's permissible, and that's permissible. So there's interesting stuff going on here, but we've got 5 regions, so this should be... So everything must be an 8, because 4 times 8 is 32, and then we've got the 4 region. So everything is 8, except... Everything is 8, except the 2x2. Everything is 8, except the 2x2. And I can't put the 2x2 here. So what the heck is taking that corner? What the heck is taking that corner? Surely it's got to come down. These two have to be part of that. Because if I went this way, how am I getting out? I've got to get out of that corner without hitting the 2x2. I need to get 8 cells out of that corner without running into multiples of the same shape. If I go this way, I can't go down. I go here. I can't continue in this direction because I can't, well, I could, but then I go down and I can't get out. And I'm nowhere near 8. So I'd have to go down, which I can't do. So I must go down. And again, now I'm trapped to that 5. So I have to go down again, which means I could possibly take that. But I have to go down. And the maximum I could have here is 4. So I must take all of those in that region. And now the question I want to ask is what hits that? Because I don't think I can get any of these, not without running through another red or the 2x2. So that is the 2x2. Because I'd have to run through another red or the 2x2 square to get out of there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's a 4. So I need another 4 cells. But this has to get out. So yeah, if I don't, as who was it who said something, Butterfly said about hugging the border. If I don't hug this border, I'm going to trap cells in. Because now what I need to do is I need to efficiently take the space. And it's really hard to explain, but you need to efficiently take the space. Which is something like that. Like that, in order to efficiently take the space. But the trick was, how do I get that cell out? Yeah, I mentioned that early on. I was talking about number of regions. I said early on that I only had enough space for 4 8-cell regions and the 2x2, which is why I was talking about that cell. I thought I covered that. All regions have an area between 4 and 5. Four and 5. So this must go this way because it couldn't take 4 in that direction. And now it can't come down. Green must come down because it couldn't take 4 in that direction. And now blue. Oh no, blue. Yeah, blue can't. Blue is in trouble. Blue can take that cell and that cell, but it can't grow again. So that's the extent of blue. And now this must come out. Red must go up because it can't take 2 down. Sorry, Laura. No, it's not your fault. There's a lot going on. Green can't go this way, so green must grow up. And green can't grow again. So the only thing that can take that is orange. Orange has its 4. So this must grow, this must grow. It must grow again, and it can't take purple because of the border here. Now purple has to grow. Red can't go this way. And purple must hit at least 4, but purple could connect up with this. So this could come down and purple could connect here. Okay. So this could come down here. Purple could connect up here. This could come out here. And then red could take all of that, for example. Oh, area between 4 and 5. Oh, I can't grow too much. So purple could connect up here, but then I couldn't come into here. So the question is, what can take this cell? The only thing that could take this cell is aqua, and now they can't connect up. So purple has to take those. And now this needs to grow because I can't connect them up. Red needs to grow. And now I've got 2 cells to fill from 2 4 regions. Bam. Wow. It was count of cells. Everyone sees it different, Eric, which is one of the things I like. I think I'm still doing logical explanations at this point, which I'm quite happy with. These hidden puzzles, though, the fact that even when you find them, you can't click on them. Like, I've got my mouse over the puzzles, but I can't click on them. Like, there's a puzzle here and I can't figure out, like, you mouse over it and it disappears as soon as you get your mouse over it. Like, this is just dumb. But, hi, we've put this puzzle in the game, but you're not allowed to click on it. Oh, I hate Gemini. Gemini is probably my least favorite. All regions have an area of at least 7. There's Gemini, so it's 2 10-cell regions, isn't it? I hate this sort of puzzle. Like, I loathe this sort of puzzle. I really don't want to do this. I'm really tempted to just skip this. That can't work. But I have to yin-yang. And now we're isolated. So this is... I hate this sort of puzzle. This sort of puzzle is just stupid. Yellow has to do this because I'm working with 2 10-cell regions. But it can't do that. This has to be yellow, so these can be blue to match up, which means yellow grows. But now there's no way, if I make this blue, can I make yellow do that and blue do that? Hate that sort of puzzle. I'm not even going to try and do a logical explanation of it because they're just terrible puzzles. And I don't even remember where I was looking. Like, there's a glow in there and I can't see the puzzle. This stuff is just stupid. Really? Okay, so this has to grow at least to that. This has to grow at least to that, but one of them has to grow. Now, this can't be a 3L, so this one has to grow, and now this has to be the same as that. So this has to stop because I can't make a U out of here. So that's the extent of that one. And this can't grow. So this is either that or that. But I'm working with 3 and 5. So this can't do that, or that would be a 2. So this does that. And now that's a 5 shape, which I can't divide. So that does that. This is now a 5 shape, which is either that or that. Either way, it takes those. But it can't do that because that would leave the wrong count. So it's that, and then that's a 5 shape. But now we're broken. No, we're not. This is at least this, but could grow one more, but not more than one more because of the delta. This is at least 3, but it can't be more than 4. But this is an L, and it can't do that because then this would need to grow to be the same shape as that. So this is that, which means that is a 4 and that is a 4. This now can't grow, and that's a 3 because otherwise I'd have the wrong count. This is a 5 elbow, but it can't go that way or it would hit both the Gemini and the Delta, so it's that. This is a 4 straight, which has to do that, and we're broken. And we're wrong here. There is at least one mistake. But is it correct here, though? Yeah, it had to be. So, but this doesn't work. This is a Gemini, which means this has to be the same as this. So it has to either be that or that. But if it's that, oh, that's a 3. And if it's that, that's a 5. 3 and 5. So that does work. So I don't know how you distinguish this. So if I did an L like that, so maybe, okay, so let's look here. This is at least a 3. But I could put a 3 in here. So this is a 3 or a 4. So this is a 3 or a 4. And it must be straight. So where's the logical deduction here? This has to be at least 3. This has to be at least 3 or could go 4. This is at least 3. I know that, oh, there's definitely a corner here. That is true. And this corner is either going to go 2 in that direction or 2 in that direction. So there's definitely a corner here. It's going to go either 2 in this direction. Well, if it went 2 in this direction, this would be forced to go 2 in this direction. If it went 2 in this direction, though, this could still go either. But if it went 2 in this direction, that would be fine. If it went 2 in this direction, how would I fill this? I'd have to take this down 2, which would be fine because then I could just take this up and then these would not match up because I can't put a 5 straight in either of those. Life is calming down. Thank you, Ilos, and welcome Kana as well. So, so this has got an elbow. Ah, it's here, isn't it? If this grew by 1 more, how would I fill this elbow? I'd just do that. Nope, it's not that. Yeah, as soon as you hit difficulty 4, they're not about logic. They're just about case testing. Like, if you do this, it breaks. If you do this... Yeah, well, if it's that... Well, it can't be that, but it could be that. It could be that. It could be that. Well, it could be that. Couldn't be that. But it could be that. And then that could be a 3, which would cause that to grow. And then the 3 in here would be fine. There's all sorts of things it could be. If this doesn't grow 1 more, how do I fill this elbow? Yes, if this doesn't grow 1 more, this would need to take both of those and then the shapes don't match. Correct. That grows 1 more. And now it must stop because these are the same. And now this must go down and that completes that. Great. Now this has to take, let's get rid of that, at least those 3. And now these can't be, or they have to be different shapes. Does that prove anything? It means I can't, well, I could go straight to the corner. Or I could go to there and stop. Or I could stop there, make that an elbow, and make that go up. And then this would be a 5. And that all seems okay. But maybe what I want to do is instead look at what is happening here now, because that's at least a 3. So this elbow, which is the same shape as this, has to go up. And that's a 4. And now this can't go up because it will be the same in different shapes. So that must do that. There's at least a 3 here, but it must grow. And it can't hook around or that would complete the same shape. Wow! Brr. I really don't enjoy these. I don't know. If the 12 hits a Gemini, if the 12 hit... See, I don't know why you can't have the 12 hit a Gemini. Because if the 12 hits a Gemini, there's 24 squares taken up, which could potentially happen if there was an isometric way of wrapping the 12 around the grid. Which might be doable. Like, there's all sorts of weird patterns that are possible in this game. And this is the thing. There's all sorts of weird patterns that are possible. Right, if you do that, then you'd be taking up 24 of the 25. Right. You'd be taking up 24 of the 25 cells, and the other area wouldn't be at least 3. So you can't have the 12 hit a Gemini. Right. God. I don't like Geminis. They were cool when they're small, but when you're playing with big things, it's just blech. So, 12 cells that don't hit a Gemini. I mean, what's wrong with that? That's an area of size 12. These regions all have the same shape. All regions have this minimum size 3. Right, okay. I hate these bloody things. Well, that doesn't work either. So 25, I'm working with a 12. I've got to make 2 gem 13. So I've got to have 2 5s that touch each other. So once I take out 12, I've got 13. So I've got to have 2 5s that touch each other. Then I could have a 3 left over. Because there's... Or I could go a 3 touching a 3, touching a 3, touching a 3. Like that. But no, that doesn't work either. That only leaves 12. Because This is a different color from those. Now, I could get 6s, but I can't get 5s. Difficulty 4, my ass. But you can't do 6s. It doesn't leave the right... You can't even do 3 4s. The only way I could see this is by connecting up 2 5s and have a 3 left over. Unless you can connect it with 2 3s, but you can't do that. Because the minute I use 4 3s, I've got the wrong count. Can I do something like that? And then I take this to 12, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then a 4. Ugh. All regions have an area of at least 2, Geminis and Deltas. So this has to grow. This has to grow, this has to grow, so there's hit its 2. This has to grow, this has to grow. Now, if I grew this again, I have a problem with the Gemini here, because this has to grow, but I can't make this a T or a H. So this has to grow to at least that, and I can't grow it again. So those are locked. This has to grow, and that is locked. This has to grow. These are the same shape, so they have to stop there. Because if I grew this one again, they'd be the same shape as red, and they can't be. So they have to stop there, and that's a 2. This has to grow, but can't stop at a 2. It grows again, but can't stop at a 3. It grows again. This is now a 2 in here, so this is a 2 in here. That must stop. And I can't stop at a 1. That's a 5. So this has to be a 5, making that a 2. This has to be a 5 because it's the same shape. And must stop, making that a 2. This has to grow, making that a 2, which now must stop. This must grow, but I have to have a region of at least 2, so that has to come to at least there. This can't be a 5. It must come out, but it can't be a 5. But there's no way it could have been a 5 anyway, so I'm not sure what that delta is doing. It does. Now this has to be at least... an L, and I don't... I don't think it could go that way, because I can't draw an L out of here without it connecting to this, and then this would have to be an S or whatever it is, and I can't draw an S down here. So this has to go that way. It can't go that way. And it can't go down. So these are done. This is now a completed, because region of at least 2, region of at least 2. This has to be 3 because this has to come down, this has to come up. So that's a 3, which is done, and that completes the puzzle. That one was very weird. That one was easy. Some of their difficulty concepts are just completely broken. Okay, so that is a 2x2 and locked in. This is the shape that is bugging me. Where can I draw that square? It could be there. I thought I was in a different mode, so let's... The square... It could be there. So this is either part of a corner, which could do that. Can it be part of a vertical? Right. It can't be in the middle of a vertical edge. Like this has to go this way because I can't draw the 4 horizontal there, 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 or there. So because of that, and I can't draw I could draw the 4 vertical there, but I can't draw the 4 vertical here because then I'd have to draw the 4 vertical somewhere here. And I can't because of these two. So I can't draw a 4 vertical here or here or here. I run into one of those. So the 4 vertical has to be in here and therefore in here. And the 4 horizontal has to be here, here, or here. So all I know for certain is that that is one of the 4 horizontals. Area of at least 3. Right. And very, very well spotted. If it did this, that would leave a 1x1 in it. Very well spotted. I hadn't thought of that, but it is correct. So it has to do that so it can leave the 2x2 in the middle. Beautiful. Now, the only way this L can go is like that. Let's color that red in the middle. And that's complete. Now, I'm not sure I've got the right number of squares here. 4, 7. I don't think I do. I don't think I have to worry about counts yet. But this has to come out and can't connect up. Because then it'd be the wrong shape. So this has to come out and can't turn. So that's that. So that has to fill the gap. If this is a 3 and if it went across, I couldn't draw that shape in. So that 3 goes up. Okay. Now let's ask about this. I can't do that. It's isolating. I think I have to hug the corner now in order to not isolate. Maybe not. That might be okay. I think it's not. But I'm not sure. So maybe it's down here where I'm most restricted. Like I can't do that. Or that. Actually, how do I get out of here? How do I get out of here? Yeah, I can't come into this row with the whatever this is. If I come into this row, I'd be isolating cells. Because I can't do that either. Because it'll isolate a 2 cell down here. But if I come out of this in any way, I'm isolating a single cell. So the only way I can see this goes is that, which leaves that as a 3. That's very cool. And now this is restricted. Because I can't do the 3 vertical here, or I'd have to come off the board. And if I did that, I'm isolating a cell. So the only way I can see this fitting now is like that. So I've got a 3-cell region here because I've really run out of room at the top. This has to come out. Is the other way of looking at it. This has to come out. I can't run into that shape because I then couldn't complete the shape. So it must turn. I can't run into that shape and I can't run into that shape. So this shape has to come out. It has to continue. And now I have to complete the shape, and that completes that. Now this has to come out. It runs into that shape and I can't go down or I'd run into the wrong shape. So that is that. This has to come out and it's part of an L now, which can't run into that. So it is around the corner. This comes down and has to turn. And now I'm broken? No, I'm not. Wow. So if this went this way, I'd be broken, because how could I complete this? If I did that, I'd be isolating 2 cells. If I did this, I'd be isolating 1 cell. If I did these, I'd be even worse off. The only way to make this work is to have this take the cell there so I can complete that and not leave cells isolated. Now this has to come out. This has to come out to reach an area of at least 3. Now this might grow. But I have at least this. Now, this is the one I'm worried about. Now, surely I have to take these, because if I don't take those, like if I did something like this, I'm isolating a 2, and the same down here. If I did, if I did that, which is the only other way of doing it where I don't take these 2, I'm isolating. So I have to take those 2. Now, the question is, do I go up here? Actually, there's a simple solution if I do that, which is I could then draw the T in there. I could grow that to there, and I've got a 3 region there. That's fine. That works, and it looks like it completes the puzzle. The question now becomes, what if I take those cells? Now, I couldn't draw the T in like that because that would isolate here, and that's a problem. The question now becomes, what if I draw in the T in like that? I isolate that cell. It doesn't work. So the T has to be drawn in like that. And now this can't come up there or I'm isolating cells. So that must do that. There's a separate 3 region and that grows. Beautiful. Have I scared everyone off? All regions have an area of at most 2. So one of these is a 1, the other one is a 2. If this was a 1, this would also have to be a 1. Does that work? So what we have here is A and B. So this would be B, this would be A, this would be A, this would be A. So let's do some coloring. Those are all the same, and those are the same. If you're saying B must go down, but I'm not seeing why yet. If A was to be 2, A would grow here. There'd be a border here. I want to see a logical thing for this. If A was to go down, this would be B. This would be A. This would be A. See, this is just case testing the whole damn thing. Which is stupid, not logical. It's like solve for one case, and if that doesn't work, it's the other one. Row 3, column 2. What about row 3, column 2? If this is 1, then this is 2, this is 2. So we'd have that, that. And that would have to grow somewhere. I don't see a problem. It's just case testing, isn't it? If A is... If A is 2... I see. If A is 2, this goes down. And this can't be a 2, this would be a 1. If A is 1, then there's a border here, and this has to be a 1. Either way, this is a 1. So let's make it red as a 1. Which means, let's make 2 blue. These are all parts of 2s. That's very strange. But has that told me anything about A and B? Well, this can't grow this way, or both of these would be 1. So this has to go up. So that's that. That's a 2, which has to grow up. That's a 2, which has to grow across. And that's a 2. And now B is red. So there's a border there. Okay, that's really interesting. That's now a red. That's a blue. Now there's a 2 and a 1 in here. So one of the... This has to be 3 1s. Because if this was a 2 and a 1, that would have no fill. Okay. I don't think I like that sort of puzzle as much as I do some of the others. But that's okay. Not everyone can like everything. I do like these rosette puzzles, but I find some of the other constraints with them quite a problem. So between 4 and 7, how does red get to a 7? Or get to a yellow within 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Don't I have to do that? Like, if I don't hug that wall, I'm not getting to a yellow. I can't come down through this other red. That's forced. Now there's blue. There's only 1 yellow I can get to within 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't get to this one without passing through another blue. I can't get to that. It must take those. this red must come out. There's a few options there. Okay. Now, if this red doesn't come up, how does this cell here get a red? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but it'd have to take all of those if this doesn't come up. And that's already 8 cells. So if yellow doesn't come up, well, the other problem is yellow can't go this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, the maximum number of cells that could be taken by yellow down here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it must come up at least 1. And I feel it takes another one and probably actually grabs those, but I'm not sure yet. Now, green can't come into here, but this cell here is quite interesting. Because it needs to take at least 4 cells. And its maximum growth is really hampered. And whatever it does, it's going to be trapping in other things. Yeah, this is all about trapping. Yeah, I was also looking at this one. Because where does it get its red? It can't get this one. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 would trap this yellow. So I think it can only get this one. But that's a real problem there. But I think that's forced. Yeah, I think that's forced. There's nowhere else it can get its red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, once it comes across here, it's trapped in a yellow. It can't come all the way across to here. It has to take that. And now everything gets messy. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I need to get a blue and a red, so it has to be those. This blue has to come out. I could run into this yellow. So I don't know what's going on here. But this must come out and must continue. And if I came up, I'm trapping those in. So I can't do that. It must take that blue. And if I came up, I'd be trapping this red into too small a region. So that ends that region. And now this region must take that one in order to grow. Because if I went up, this region would run into maybe not actually. Because I could grow this and I could grow this and then these could work down here. So let's start down here. The only thing that could hit without running into this blue, or which would trap this blue, is that red. So 1, 2... And basically, I can't come through this blue. because it has to take this blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It must be those. Otherwise, I'm trapping cells. Now, this must come out here. The only red this one can get now is... Can it get yellow? It might still be able to pick up yellow. But this one can't reach as far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one must take that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it took that one, that actually can work. Or I could take this red. This could take all of those. This is actually a little tricky. So what I'm seeing here is yellow could take this red. This blue could take this red. This could take those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'd have an orphan cell because of the limitations. So this cannot take this red. Because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'd have an orphan cell. So yellow must take that one. Now it can't take any of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yellow is done. Blue must connect up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that means these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And blue takes that. That's insane. That's a counted cell problem. I hope people are enjoying me doing this one. Man, I'm nervous about these harder puzzles. Have an area between 3 and 4, and neighboring regions must have different shapes. So this must grow. And it must grow again, but it can't grow across, otherwise these would be regions of size 2. So that does mean this isn't going to be part of an L to have the 4. So if this grows up, the L will be down, and if this grows down, the L will be up. Now this must grow. So this is part of a 3, and it can't be an L, but it could stop as an elbow. This can't be an elbow because it's touching whichever one of these is an elbow. So this can't be an elbow, and it can't be a 4 doing this. So this has to be a straight 3, I think. This has to be... I'm pretty certain this has to be a straight 3 because I can't make this an elbow. I can't make it a 4 without orphaning. I think that has to be a straight 3. Oh, green might be a T. Okay, you're right. And then this could be an elbow. Okay, this one is tricky. These are all regions of size 7, aren't they? So there's a 3 and a 4 in every region. So this comes out. This comes out and this comes out, and one of those grows. So one of these is an L. So this region here can't be part of an L. So it's either an elbow and that's an L, or it's an S and then I've got freedom. But this must grow and this must grow. This could be part of a T though. This is at least an elbow. Now this must come out and it can't connect up. So that's at least an elbow. And this must come out and it must connect up. So it's at least an elbow. But these must be different shapes. This one must come out, but it can't connect up, so it must be at least an elbow. This must come out. That one could connect up, though. This one must come out. This must come out and this must come out. So those are the same shape. Those connect up. And one of these must be a T. If this becomes an L, this becomes a T, and that's okay. If this stays an elbow, this has to be an I, because this couldn't be an elbow. No, that's not true. This could be an S or whatever they're called. I don't see. Well, there's something going on here because this comes out, but one of these, oh no, yeah, one of these is an elbow. But I could just do that and this could be an L and this could be an L. No, I can't do that. And this can't be an elbow, but this could be a T. Ugh. No, this can't be a T. So this can't be an S, it can't be a T, and it can't be an elbow, and it can't be a 3 straight. So does that have to be a 4 straight? What can this be? It can't be an elbow because one of these two is an elbow. It can't be a 3 straight. And there's no other 3 straight, because that orphan stuff. So it has to be a 4 shape. It can't be a T, it isolates things. It can't be an S, that isolates things. It has to be a 4 straight. And that's now an elbow, so that can't be. So this can't be an elbow now, and it can't be a 3 straight. This is a 4 shape, and the only 4 shape that doesn't isolate stuff is that. This now can't be an elbow, that must grow. This now can't be an elbow, that must grow. This now can't be an elbow, that must grow. This now can't be an S, so that stops and that must grow. This can't be an elbow, that must grow. This must come out. Can't be an elbow, but it could be 3 straight. No, it can't be 3 straight. It can't be an elbow because it's touching an elbow, and it can't be a 3 straight. So this is a 4 piece. It could be a T. But either way, it must take that. And these are part of a different region. That's okay, butterfly. This is now not part of an L, so green has to be part of a T. This must come out. It must bend, and it's not part of an L. But I can see 2 solutions there. So this is wrong. It says this is correct. This can't be a 3 straight. If this is a 3 straight, it'd be touching another 3 straight. That is an elbow. That is a T. Right. This... If this is an elbow, we get an S. Or that could be a straight... Okay, yeah. So, hang on. I can't put a T here. This can't go down. Right, red can't go down. Because if red goes down, it'd be at a maximum. So red... But does red have to grow? But the only thing that fills that is purple. If purple takes that, it's a T and that grows. Right, yep, got it. All regions have an area of at most 4. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. All of these are different. No, all of these are different. Okay. So what have we got? 4, 8, 14, 28. Okay, we've got some leeway. Well, all regions must have different shapes, so this has to come out. And it can't go down, so there's your 2. This has to come out. Don't do that, BremSter. That's wrong. Neighboring regions must be different shapes. So the 2 can't come up. Because if the 2 came up, the 2 2s would be touching each other. So the 2 goes down and that's done. So now the 3 can't do that. The 3 must stop because if the 3 took those, it'd run into that. So that's your 3 and this is your 1. Top row now needs to grow and it can't come down. 3 must come out. This must come out and it can't go up and it must continue to grow because that's your 2. This must come out and I'm broken. No, this doesn't need to come out. That could be a 1. And now the only thing that can take this is the 3. Now this needs to grow again, and it can't join the 4. So the 4 needs to come out and grow, can't join the 3. The 3 needs to come out and that completes the 3. The 2 needs to come out and is done. Now in here I need to put a 4 space, which I can't fit without connecting up to there. That completes that 4 space, which is different, which completes the 3. Nice little puzzle. I liked that one as a difficulty 4. Oh, let's face it, while hopefully people are still here, if they can even see this. People have said that there needs to be a zoom function, and I kind of get it because this is hard to see. Because I don't even know what the count is. 9, 16, 20 something, 23, 29, 34. There's no way I'm going to get this math right. Okay, so what do we have? We have 4, 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, 5, 4, 4, 6, 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 6, and 7. The sum of all of those is 108. And we have 115. So these need to come out. No, they don't. We've got 7 spaces of leeway. Let me just confirm that again. I'm just going to retype this and confirm. So we have 4, 5, 7, 7, 6, 5, because my typing is terrible. 5, 4, 4, 6, 7, 6, 5, 7, 5, 7, 5, 6, and 7. We have 108 confirmed. Hidden numbers in the grid. And of course, some of the 5s and 7s could be in the same region. That is very true. That, however, is a locked 4. That is a locked 4. That is at least 4, could grow. This must come out to at least there and then grow into either the 5 or the 7. This comes out to at least here. This comes out to at least here. That's not huge. The 5 doesn't need to do anything because it could just be picked up by yellow. This must come out. This must come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 is done. Don't know where to look. This 5, it's got to be this 5 and this 7. There's got to be space issues up here because we've got to fit 12 cells in here. And this 5 can't come through this 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Surely these have to be part of the 7. Because this 5 has to go somewhere. If the 5 doesn't take this cell, its maximum cell count is 4. So the 5 must take that cell. But now the 7 is limited to 1, 2, or without taking yellow, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in size. So this is part of the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's the end of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the end of that. Now this cell, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the end of that. And orange must grow. 1, 2, 3, 4, to at least there. Now it probably takes the 6, but I don't know that for sure. But the 6 must get out. No, the 6 doesn't have to get out. Actually, we have a problem here. Houston, we have uno problemo. This 6, if orange picks up the 6, it would do that, isolating a cell, or do that, isolating a cell. So this can't be orange. So 6 has to get out. It could take 1, 2, 3. It must take at least those 3. And now the 5 is trapped. So 5 must be part of yellow, and that ends it. Now the only thing that can get that is the 6. Now we could crucifix the 6, because that's a valid 4, or this could grow and the 6 could grow. This has to come out. And even if it's part of the 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the 6 must take those. But the 7 must grow now. Because even 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 must take at least those and then one more, but it can't go down. But now the 4 has to grow, taking at least those. And now the 7 is completely trapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 7 is absolutely all of those. Now the 4 is those, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 6 is those. That is insane. The 6 now must grow, 1, 2, 3, 4, can't take the 7, which has to grow, and the 6 has to take those. The 6 must grow, can't connect up with the 4, must grow. But the 6 is limited by this cell, right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It can't, if I came out through here, I wouldn't be leaving a region of the right size. The 6 must take those. And again, if the 4 didn't take this cell and came out, I'd be leaving a region of the wrong size. So the 4 must take this. And it can't take that, or it'd be isolating a cell. That's the 4. And now the interesting thing is this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 must be at least a 4 and can't connect up to the 6, which must come out through here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It doesn't have to go any further than that. It could stop there. But the 5 must come out, and it could connect up to yellow. But the 7 must grow. And it could hook up, leaving this as a 4. And those two 5s could hook up as well. So surely now we're down to cell counts. because there's 25 cells in there. So there's no way I'm doing 2 5s and 3 7s. I can't even do 3 7s and 1 5. So 2 of the 7s have to hook up. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I can't hook the others up. So these 2 7s have to connect up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I probably need to do it that way so I can make that a 4 region. But now this is part of a 5. So the 7 has to come. No, that could be the 5. But the 7 has to grow. This could be part of the 5. Because this is now 15. And I've got room for... Well, hang on. I can't connect all of the 5s up. But there is room. There's all sorts of room here. But if the 5 doesn't connect up, I could connect the 5 to there and get the... No, I couldn't do that. If this 5 connects up, I'd have to do something like that, and then the 7 could get out. If this 5 comes this way, though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this 5 would trap in the 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this 5 can't come out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 traps 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 5 must connect up. If this 5 doesn't connect up with yellow, I don't have enough cells to complete this 5 and this 5. Even if I connect them up, I'm trapping in the 7. So this must connect up, completing that 5. Now the 7 must get out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if I took all of those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I don't need those. I could take one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I must take those. That's still not enough. But this now is part of the 5. But this 5... But even if I don't take any more, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 could take 2 more cells. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And how do I not have a couple of options here? Because every region is at least size 4. So I have to completely fill this area. So the 5 has to take that. The 7 has to take that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 5 has to take that and that. The 6 has to take that and that has to fill the gap. That puzzle was absolutely amazing. Some of these are really good. And these ones just frustrate me. So I've got 5 regions of at least area 2 to make the borders work. It's similar to the concept we saw before. So I could draw something like that, 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 and something like that. That's 6. But that might be enough. No, it's not. So I need to make sure I'm covering it. I can draw 5 dominoes, and I need to cover both sides of every one of these borders. And that's really, well, I might be able to use some 3 regions for this, like that, 2, that might do it. All about with only 10 cells covering all of the borders. Neighboring regions must have different areas. So this can't be part of the 4 region because they'd have the same area. So the 4 must come out. It can't come up to here. This can't have a 4. So the 4 must come out. So this is a 1. 4 can't come this way because then it'd be touching whatever 4 this is. So the 4 can't come up. This must come up. This is a 1. 4 can't come across because it would be touching. 4 can't come down. So there's that. 3 must come down. 4 must come up and then come up because it can't enter that square. Let's do some colouring here. Make 3 green. This must come out. It can't be a 4 though. It can't be a 3. The 4 can't come that way. So there's the 4. Ah, so that's the 3, and that completes the puzzle. Was it the 6 that took you a lot longer, Butterfly? So this one? Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I went on that one. I'm not bad at puzzles. I just feel like I'm bad at puzzles. All regions are rectangular. So this can't come out because then it would have to turn. So this is a 1 region, which means it must come this way. There's a border here. Oh, the 26 with 36 base. Okay. All regions are rectangular. So this goes in either that direction or that direction. If this did this, there'd be a border here, and then it would have to turn. It can't do that. This has to do this, which means that's a region, that's a region, that ends. So there's no border there, it does that. But now it must turn. Which means it can't go down. That's a single, that's a 2x2. That comes out, and that ends it. So there's the 2x2, there's the 1x1, and that ends it. That's really clever. Did I explain that one well enough? That might have to be if you're watching this as a VOD, roll back and see if you can follow what I did there. I think I understood that one. Maybe? All boxes are rectangular. All regions are rectangular. Must have all region... mismatch. Hang on. All regions must have different shapes. Well, there's only two ways of doing a rectangular region of 4. You can either do a 4x1 or a 2x2. They're the only ways of doing it. So these 4 shapes have to be taken up by a 4x1 and a 2x2. Well, if I do a 2x2 there, I can't make the others by a 4x1. So that's the 2x2 and that's the 4x1, and that's locked in. Now, a 6 can only be done with, if your factor is 1, you can do a 6x1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If a factor is 2, you can do a 2x3. If your factor is 3, you can't do it because it's 3x2, and then you're repeating yourself. So there's only 2 ways of doing a 6, which is a 6x1 or a 2x3. Now, I can't make that part of a 2x3, but I need to catch all 6s with that. So that's the 6x1, and that's the 2x3. This is now a 1x1. This is a 2x1, because I can't do 2 1x1s because all regions have different shapes. Now this shape has to be rectangular, but it can't be be made up of 1x1 or 2x1. That's a 3x1. This has to come out. It can't stop at 3x1, so it's at least a 4x1, and there's a border there. And we get to this. And now the cell I want to think about is that one. Or maybe not. Maybe that one. It's definitely one of the corners because I can't use 2x2s. One of these has to be a 3x3. But I can't do... Yeah, blue can't be a 4x1, so it has to grow again. If it's a 5x1, how do I fill these? I can't use a 2x2 and I can't use a 3x2. This has to be a 7x1, doesn't it? I think this has to be a 7x1, this has to be that, and this has to be that. Because the other shapes were all too small and I've already used all the small shapes. Well, that was bonkers. All regions are rectangular. Each region contains a single symbol and shows the area of a region. Well, this has to be a 7x1. And I can't go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this has to be a 7x1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Where do I put a 5 is also has to be a 5x1 because there's no other way of dividing it and I can't go across. So this is a vertical 5x1. So it must include those 4. This is a 5x1. So it's, no, that's not true. That is not true. But this is a 5x1. So it's now just those 5. This is a 5x1. So yeah, there's no, sorry, I was worried for a minute there. I had to keep them different shapes, but I don't because there's no way of doing that. This is part of 5x1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those two are part of it. And those 3 are part of this one. So the trick is going to come down to the 3s. Well, no, the 2 can't go this way. Because if the 2 went this way, this would be a 4x1. But the 2 could go up and I could do the 4x1. Oh, no, this is just a 5x1. That's the 5x1. But it doesn't tell me about the 2. Three can't go vertical. 3 has to be horizontal. So 3 has to be horizontal, 3 has to be vertical, 3 has to be horizontal, 3 has to be horizontal. Five has to be vertical, 2 has to be vertical, and that completes the puzzle. And it's unlocked a whole heap more puzzles. I think this is the bit someone told me like 3 weeks ago that they enjoyed. And it's like, I'm not even close to it yet. And there's still puzzles back here in this intro section I haven't done. Okay, 45, but I'm only working with 32. So some of these regions have to connect up. 5 has to come out. But I can't connect up all the 6s, can I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I can't. So there's 2 6 regions. But the 6... These all must be part of the same 6 region. Well, at least this one must. Because I can't run into the 5 region. And now that 5 region can't connect to that 5 region. So this 5 region must come out, and that 4 region is done. And the 5 region must come out, and then must complete. So the 4 region comes out, and the 5 region comes out, which can't run into the 4. Which must come, and we're broken. Okay, let's try this again, because this broke my brain. 5 must come out, can't run into the 4. This must come out. Let's not worry about that. The 6. Can't go into the 4. 5 must grow. And now the 4 must do that. 5 must grow to the 5. 5 must come out. That's the 6. Five must come into the 5 because 1, 2, 3, 4. If it doesn't, I'm done. And if the 5 grows, the 6 is done. So there's the 5 and the 6 comes out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can't go into the 5. There. The 4s now hook up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that completes the puzzle. YouTube is feeding me back at the same rate, so it could be the international processing. Do I really want to do a 6 without stream support? I might go do some of the 1s which were buried somewhere. And then when I come back, I might do... there's a 2 up here. I might do some of the earlier hard ones. So these are different. All regions have an area between 2 and 4. Neighboring regions must have different shapes. So the 2 can't go this way and the 2 can't go this way. So that's your 2 and that's your 2. This must come out and we're broken. No, that is not true. This must come out, but it can't bend and it can't bend and it can't be a 3 straight because all regions have an area between 2 and 4. So this has to grow again. This has to come out. So the 3 has to go down and the 3 has to go down, completing the 3s. This can't stop, so this grows. Now, this has to grow, but it can't stop at a 2 or a 3. So that's a 4 straight. This has to grow. This could stop there, actually. And it can't be a 3 and it can't be a 4. So it must stop there. So this comes out. Can't be a 2, it can't be a 3. Can't be a 3 straight. So there's your 4. And we've got the wrong count. So I've done something wrong here. There's a border here, there's a border here. This can't go this way or the 2 shapes would be touching. This can't go this way. So this is absolutely forced. Now this must come out, but it can't bend into a 3 and it can't stop there. So it must continue. Now this 3 can't go horizontally, so it must go down. But this must come out. And now this has to be vertical. This can't stop at 3, it must grow. And now that it's hit 4, it must stop. This must come down, it can't stop at 2. Must come down, it can't stop at 3, it must come down, it must stop at 4 because of the range. This must come out, it can't be 3 or 4, and it has to be straight. So it has to stop at 2. This can't be 2 or 3 straight. So it comes out, it can't stop at 2, it must grow, it can't stop at 3 straight, it must grow, and that's correct. But now I've got the wrong count of cells. Because I've got 5 cells. Oh, that grows to there, and that's... Sometimes BremSter doesn't see the obvious because it's just there. Neighboring regions must have different areas. What? So these are part of the same area, these are part of the same area, these are part of the same area. But they can't connect up. So this 4 can't come this way or it'd touch this 4. And they can't connect up because if I did this, these would be separate 4 areas at C. So this can't come this way, can't come this way. It must come down and then grow. These can't go this way. And it can't go this way or this way. So that does this. It can't come down. It does this. This can't go up, left, or right. So it does this, and that completes the puzzle. Uber. Neighboring regions must have different areas. So that's all part of the same. 5 must come out and grow and then hook up, because if it doesn't hook up, they're going to be 2 different regions. So there we go. This can't come out or down. So that's a 2. Otherwise, I'd have 2 1s. That doesn't work. The 5 comes up. Let's make it bleedingly different. It can't come up again, because if I did, I'd have to connect up and then it'd be a 6 region. It must come out. I can't come down. So that's a 1. I go up. I can't go in that direction or that direction. So that's that 5. This 5 can't come down. It must go up. I can't come across. There's the 5, and that completes the puzzle. This is very, very strange. So none of these, oh no, they could do a link like that. So this one's a little more tricky. But if I did that, oh no, I could do stuff like, no, I'm going to run out of options. If I did this, I'm going to run out of options. Maybe. Yeah, I'm going to run out of options. None of these. So it's if these ones in the middle can never hook up, because I'd have to make a border with another 3 region. The question is the ones at the end. But I don't think that works, because in order to hook up, is there a way of seeing this? Yeah, these ones can't go left or right. And they can't go up. So this must go down. And the same is true here. This must go up. Yeah, I can draw those borders in. Can't go down. That's the way to do it. I can draw all of these borders in. And that answers all of the questions. No, I can't draw that border or that border. But it gives me that and that. And this one can't go that way, and this one can't go that way. So that has to go that way, that has to go that way. This one can't go that way. This one can't go that way. So that goes that way and that way. Now this one can't go up or that way. So this must go down. And now it must hook up. This one can't go up. So that must do that. So I was wrong. See, I was wrong. Chat was right. BremSter was wrong. Neighboring regions must have different areas. So that's a 1. So this must come up, but can't be a 2. So it must come up, but it can't be a 3. So it must come out, but it can't be a 4. So it must come out again. So 3 comes out and must grow. 2 must come out and stop. 4 must come out. 3 is done. This must come out, can't stop because it'd be a 2. Must come out, can't stop because it'd be a 3. Can come out. Probably hooks up with yellow. Now 3 comes out but can't stop and must connect up. 2 comes out and ends. That is now 4 and that ends everything. And it auto-connected the yellow, which is a little dodgy. Neighboring regions must have different areas, range 2 to 3. So this has to be a 3 because I can't make this out of a 2 and a 1. So this is a 3. So this must be part of a 2 area. This must be part of a 2 area. But I can't do a 2 like that and a 2 like that. So that's a 2 and that's a 2. Because if I put the 2 not connected to this one, then those would be two areas touching each other. So that is a 2. And that is a 2. Now this must be part of a 3 and this must be part of a 3. And they must be part of the same because they must hook up. And they must just be part of the same because neighboring regions must have different areas. This is part of a 3, but it can't get out. So this is wrong. Okay, let me look at this again. This must be part of a 3. So this has to be part of a 2. And this has to be part of a 2. Is there any? No, this doesn't. This has to be part of a 2. This doesn't have to be part of a 2. This is definitely part of a 2. So this is part of a 3 that has to come out. This is part of a 2. But now this has to be part of a 3. Which can't go that way. So this 3 must go that way. And these have to be part of a 2. The 3 comes out now. And this has to be part of a 3, which must hook up. This now has to be part of a 2. And this now has to be part of a 3, which must do that. That's fascinating. That was I could see why I fell for that trap. This now has to be part of a 2. These have to be part of a 2. So this is part of a 3, which does that. This is part of a 3, but I don't know what it does. But this is part of a 2, which does that. So the 3 does that, and that finishes the puzzle. This is really clever stuff. And I'm going to finish very soon, I promise. Let's do this too. Must have different areas. So we have our 1. This is a 2 and must finish. The 3 must come out. And it can't go, well, yeah, this 3 can't come up. because if it does, it would touch a 3 which it can't join. So the 5 must come out and must go down and must continue to grow. And it can't come into the 3, which must come out. It could connect to that 3 though. Now the 5 also could connect to that 5. Now this must come out. But this 3 is now a problem, isn't it? No, it's not. Because I could do that and make those a 3. And then this could be a 1 and a 2. So that's not an issue. But this 4 must come out. Actually, that 4 is forced. Because it can't connect to this 4. And because it can't connect to this 4, it can't come to that cell or that cell, and it can't enter that cell. So this 4 is completely forced. And now we've got problems down here, I think. Well, this 4 now can't go this way or this way. So the 4 goes this way. This can't be a 1 region, so that has to take that. This can't be a 1 region, so that's part of a 2 region. Oh, and the 3 must now go up because neighboring regions have different areas. The 4 must go down now to complete. And now if the 3 goes up, this would be a separate 3 area. So this is a 1 region. Now the 3 can't go up. So this is the 3 region. The 5 must go down. And this has to be a 2 and a 1 now because it can't be a 3 because they must have a different areas. And this can't be part of the 2. So that's the 1 and that's the 2. I think I'm doing okay at these. Okay. With that, I'm going to do the, if you're enjoying these, please comment below on the type of puzzles that you like the most and the type that you like the least. Like, subscribe. I am starting to do some more gaming over on my BremSter Games channel, so there is more stuff happening over there. I'm revisiting the Outer Worlds, which I'm enjoying, and I'm putting some stuff together to potentially play later in the year. I'm putting some projects together for over there. Some stuff that you may have seen before, but I'm trying to do things in different ways. I've got some Cyberpunk ideas. Cyberpunk is probably the best game I've ever played. I've also got some other games that I want to finish off. But I want to try and do some more story-driven stuff and more explorations-driven stuff, even with Cyberpunk. Of course, down below, you can, as I said, like, subscribe, hype these. I am checking, there are a lot of other people who are playing this, but I seem to be the only one who is going through with the depth that I am. A lot of them are just going, oh, there's the solution, there's the solution. Now, the most popular stream seems to be still from CTC, who seem to have abandoned this game, and I'm not sure why. I have guesses, but I don't want to call that out too publicly. Yeah, of course it was going to be Cyberpunk Butterfly. I absolutely love that game. Thank you everyone for watching. Please, as I said, like, subscribe, hype. If you do have the ability, then my Ko-fi link should be below and should be corrected. That is a wonderful way of supporting me with everything that I do on all of the channels. There are some puzzle packs that are being worked on. And there's just a huge amount of work. My renovations are coming together quite well, and my wrist is healing up pretty well. So things are starting to pick up. A lot of the projects at work are starting to come together, although we're hitting crunch time. So we'll have to see what's happening with all of that. So I'm trying to get things a little more under control. So we'll see how it all goes. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you're enjoying the Sudoku that's coming out. I hope you're enjoying the puzzles from the vault. That is something that has been getting a little bit of attention, and I hope you're all enjoying it. And as always, good luck with your solving.